before him. That in the new man there is Christ. There's not these other things. Whoever does the will of my Father. And we say, well, what is that, Pastor? That's what I'm trying to do. These things that feel good to me and that the world's telling me. That's not God's will. What God's will for you is here. See, this is it. This is God's will. You say, oh, Pastor, that Bible again. Shouldn't I be listening to what the world tells me? Isn't that the most important? What is God's will? God's will is not his plan for your life, right? That all-encompassing plan. That's his decretive will. You don't worry about that. If it's possessing, and if you're worried about that and running around, oh, what's God's will for my life? Guess what? God's will for your life is you worrying and running about and saying that. Because he's in control of all those things. He's controlling your breathing right now. You don't worry about that. This creation continues to exist because of his decretive will. There's no power in anything to exist, but God wills it. That's his business. The secret things belong to the Lord our God, but the things revealed belong to us and to our children forever, that we may observe all the words of this law. You want to know what God's will for your life is? Read the preceptive commands of Scripture. What does God tell you to do? That's his will for your life. Not his will of disposition. That's his character, his goodness. That's him. He takes care of that. His perfect plan, you're not going to know it anyway. And you can't mess it up. You can't. His law. This is his will, that you would obey him, that you would read Scripture, that you would come to church, that you would worship in hearing the word, in singing, in praying from the heart, in believing. God's will for your life is to do what he says, in his word.